Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anne of Green Gables podcast, title pending. I am the host of this, Master Art, and with me is...
Me.
And who are you?
I'm Simo.
Okay.
And I'm Irrelevant, aka now at the moment the Duke of Kachow, because Kachow is great.
I'm the vampire, the best vampire around, also known as Vamp Cavendish.
Anyhow, we're discussing Anne of Green Gables, the world masterpiece theater show by Isao Takahata, who wrote and directed it. Yeah, he wrote. I'm pretty sure he wrote pretty much all of it. A lot of people are on the storyboarding and the episode direction stuff, but he storyboarded and episode directed episodes 1 through 4, which is what we're going to be discussing. First, we're going to give the overall impressions, and then we're going to go into episodic details. And up first is Simao.
First of all, I would like to apologize for only having watched the first 2 episodes instead of the first 4 episodes. Sorry about that.
Well, it can happen. What did you think of what you saw?
I think it was a pretty good show. A pretty good episode, at least. I don't think they make anime like this anymore.
Yeah,
at least as visually pretty.
What do you mean by pretty good show? A bit more than yes, I liked it.
Okay.
Impressions.
I would like to mention the moving layouts, the background layouts.
Yes.
The way they move. Okay, so sometimes it looks a little artificial and fake, but a lot of times it looks pretty good. Okay, I think the problem is that anime doesn't really do this, at least often, so I'm not really used to it.
Well, I mean, 70s anime did it all the time, and it's also like the time that the backgrounds are really moving fast. It's more to like show Anne's wonder and amazement at something.
Yeah, I think that it looks as good as it could look. Like Disney shorts have much more budget. They
time
and budget. So it looks more natural in Disney movies.
Mm. All right. Irrelevant. What did you think?
Basically, kind of the same thing. It looks gorgeous as hell, all hell. Something I noticed was, for some reason, was this vertical parallax scrolling kind of thing. It just happens. I don't know, maybe it was in the first episode, but I never really have noticed, like, consciously noticed, like, parallax in, like, a vertical kind of sense.
Well,
it's always kind of, like, horizontal. It's weird. It's probably just because I'm trying to actually take notes.
Yeah.
And, like, actually looking at the backgrounds and everything. But, of course there's other stuff that has it, but I don't know, I just, like, noticed it really well. And also just how everyone's characterized. They're very clear, distinct.
Yes.
And the subs I have, I think, are a bit trash, but it kind of makes the characters... I'll talk more about this later, but I don't know. It gives them... It really, like, exaggerates the character, makes them a bit derpy, but it's nice. In a nice way.
Yeah. Vamp.
Yes.
Yeah, your overall impressions.
My overall impressions, yes.
Yes.
All right. To go in depth, slightly more in depth. I think it's a really delightful show from what I've seen. The 4 episodes, first 4. I was actually a little bit worried at first because there's like a first scene where Anne's on a boat and the narrator is saying, "Oh, she prepares for her new life with a hopeful heart," and she doesn't look hopeful at all. But that's like the only thing that was dissonant, and like everything else about the show is pretty much great.
Well, it's because she's trying to convince herself that she's hopeful.
Yes. So even in my notes, it says like, oh, is it trying to be funny here? What is it trying to do here? It's just slightly confused on that. So, yeah, you're probably right. Obviously, just like the other dudes here have said, visually great. I think it's not just in Anne's imagination scenes that it's great almost throughout the whole show. It's definitely big come in those kind of scenes I just mentioned.
Well, the whole show is like there isn't just Anne's imagination. The whole show is colored through Anne's eyes, even in like a lot of subtle ways when it's not like.
Have you seen the entire show?
Yeah, I'm rewatching it.
I'm only worried about one thing.
What?
It's the possibility of Anne becoming an annoying character.
Well, that would be telling, but I finished it. You know.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure all of you know how quick I am to drop something when I don't like it.
Yep.
Because if she doesn't develop as a character.
Well, episode 4, man. Episode 4.
Okay, I have not
Let's
seen
stay grounded.
4.
We got a long way to go.
Yes. Episode 1, notes. Absolute loss of peace. You don't have any.
No, I have not.
Do you have like detailed thoughts about it that you could say, or
about episode 1 in specific?
Yeah, episode 1 specifically. We're gonna go
Not
through
really. I have thoughts. I have thoughts about both episodes, but I have no thoughts about episode 1 in specific. I liked it. Just that.
Okay. We'll get back to that then, I guess, when we're talking about episode 2. Irrelevant.
There was like, how to explain this? There's a lot of like airs like she needs to be kind of like worthy of someone's love kind of thing. Especially in the first, like, she's like, oh, I'm so happy to be like owned by you. That might have just been the subs, but
yeah, no. She literally said "Uchi no kono steki da wa," which means or something along those lines. Which I have it in my notes actually, which literally translates to "I'm so glad to be someone's girl."
yeah, exactly. And then they'll just look on Matthew's face after that. It's just like, what?
Yes.
Don't worry.
Matthew's face is a pleasure.
That is greatness. It's just
Truly.
Yeah. Also, there's just a change in her expression. Like, there's this one point she's like just got off the train. She's on the platform looking in the distance, and she's just kind of like got a somber look on her face. Yes. And then it cuts to like some scenery. There's just some beautiful tree, and then she just perks up. It just cuts to us back smiling. Like her mood's just instantly changed. She's just instantly gotten happier.
Yeah.
So she's seen some beautiful nature.
And then she walks on the train tracks. And then she walks on the train tracks. And she keeps looking back to see if a train is going. Like she's not like she knows this is dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's not like there's going to be too many trains. But yeah, when's this set actually? Like
1870s, I think.
1870s. Okay, that makes sense. And besides that, there's some like how she conversates, but I think that we could get onto that a little later because there are better examples.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think those will come up in like episode 3 for me, mostly.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and also just how the characters are. Oh, and and what I was going to say, how they value characters. Like, what was the lady's name again? Was it Margaret? Marilla, that's her name. Yeah, she's like, oh, we really need a boy because they need to do work. A girl's not going to be any use to us. So, even in the future, there's going to be stuff like different senses of worth of a person in things. I think I'll leave it at that for now.
I have one more thing that I would like to mention.
All right.
It's this weird effect near the end of the episode I think it's supposed to be sunshine behind the
Oh yeah,
trees.
I thought. Yeah. I think that is supposed to be sunshine. Well, what's ahead for Anne?
I don't think this scene has aged well, because if this was made nowadays, it would probably be CGI or something like that. But
Yeah.
at the time, they could not have made
Well,
this look
I think
realistic.
I think it kind of works in a storybook way.
In like a stylized kind of
Yeah.
thing.
They could not have made this scene realistic. I don't think they had the technical power to do that.
Well, on television animation, yes. No, didn't. Anyhow, irrelevant. You got more stuff to say.
Vamps just posted this like kind of framing background thing.
Oh yes,
We get for the
establishing.
Yeah, establishing like, oh, we're introducing this character now. They're very cute.
Yeah.
They do
Yeah.
kind of seem a little off because there's like things outside the border frame, and it just
Yeah.
seems to be placed there. But
Yeah.
it's cute. It's good.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, they do it for all three of the main characters.
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure. Yeah. I think I've said most of what I needed to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That vamp. You.
For me, actually, one of my first notes was that the opening is pretty great, and I plan to try to watch it on most episodes for the third and fourth episode and have as much time. But it's pretty great. TBH. Whoosh. Oh yeah, I'll start off with, I guess, a note that I made to myself. It literally says "Note to self" at the beginning at the end of the episode. Well, I'll say it now because I feel like this is best to summary how I felt about the overall episode, and mostly the character Anne herself. Anne feels like an emotional whirlwind, not one of a single feeling, but one of a myriad of different feelings that all
Yes.
are intense in nature.
Yes.
And she's too powerful of a character. She's almost like Kagari from main character from Little Witch Academia. Except this girl is way more young and has a little more energy and spunk to her
I
in a
also
more
think
cheerful way.
I also think she's smarter than Kagari.
Yeah, Kagari, fucking retarded. I love her. Oof. I will say, I really love how well both these how Matthew and Anne shine when they're interacting with each other in the first episode, and especially how the characters introduced beforehand with the whole grapevine framing thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The narrator talks about how Matthew, he is not much of a social guy. He doesn't know how to talk to people that well. He's mostly stoic, just farm boy kind of person, and he especially doesn't know how to interact with females and girls. I mean, women and girls. That's sort of paraphrased
all
from
of
the. Oh yes, of course. Except me, I'm a vampire. I have plenty of experience being so old. So by the time that Matthew and Anne actually meet each other, like I think it was like 10 or 11 minutes into the episode,
Yes.
I was already sort of hyped up for it, and also learning about the characters on the way.
Oh,
When characters
I
aren't
love-
even really interacting at all.
I
It's great.
love. Yes, I love the shot when Matthew goes to sit down and Anne stands up, and then she sits down, and then Matthew like checks the clock and reacts to that. It's like you immediately know what's happened as the audience, but the characters don't know, and it's shown in like such a charming, delightful way.
And
Yes.
and it's relatable.
Yes.
This is like the perfect example of what I feel like the rest of the series is gonna be like, and just the nuance of human experience going on here. Way different and way above a whole lot of other anime. I only got like a couple more notes on here. Oh yeah, I want to make mention towards the end of the episode, towards the last third. Anne doesn't like her hair color. She's a very imaginative girl, but she for some reason can't imagine her red hair away when she can like imagine herself. Oh, I got all better features or whatever. It's very interesting that she can't do that with her hair, and kind of feel like I know why. But more importantly, or more interesting to me, she specifically wants, and I will quote from the subs, a glorious black as the raven's wing. It's partly interesting just because for the character, she just wants a different color, where I feel like it's a sort of dissonance that I kind of enjoy recognizing with me, myself, and my experiences, and knowing other people from this time. You know,
You knew three people from the 19th century.
no, I meant current day. Like that. No one's really into like oh my god, black hair. Everyone's more like, oh, blonde. Oh, red can be like a kink thing. Ooh, it's colorful. It's just like people dye their hair red, and it's like, but Anne is more into black. Maybe it was just a different standard of back in the day. The idea of beauty. Who knows? I just find that my dissonance is like me thinking of reality in a certain way, people liking things in a certain way, and her thinking differently. I just found that very like just nice. Adds a little flavor. I don't know. That's it for my notes for episode 1.
Yeah, I'm I don't know where to start. First of all, I guess early in my notes, because there's some stuff I want to talk about later. One big thing, but that's later. I like how visual it is. I like how little music there is. I like how much of this is the sound design and the characters doing something. Or like you have Marilla and the woman that comes over talking about how she can't believe how they're getting like adopting a son, and it's intercut with Anne arriving and going to the thing, and like I like how it's combining two things. It is very like it gets a sort of density to it. Okay. Furthermore, the animation, the fucking keyframes, the poses, the everything, they're so good. Like they're not too exaggerated. They're not even like Hayao Miyazaki exaggerated. They're very like understated. Very you can tell they're very clear. They're very understated. They're very like I don't know.
They don't make things like this anymore.
That realistic. That's not an argument. They're very like kind of realistic in how they move. Like you can believe that real people move like this. You can believe that the hair of people would move like this in a situation, and it grounds it and makes it believable.
Oh yeah, I big agree. I will reference something from the 3rd episode, maybe, where Anna's just talking to Marilla, and like she gets so excited about whatever she's talking about that she like walks forward and then she like spins and does a 180, but it's not exaggerated or crazy or anything. It's just like, yeah, a little girl would do this, and it would be, how it looked. It's not like, oh my god, this needs to be the biggest cum of animation. No, it's just what it needs to be. It's just nice. I especially I noticed in episode 1, I really loved episode 1 and 2. Really loved their walking animation.
Yes.
For some reason, I just found it very satisfying how the legs and shoes sort of animated.
Especially the train tracks. Like
Yeah.
her on the train tracks, that was just
Yes.
the cutest thing ever. Just putting with one leg in front of the other, and just tipping topping kind of over each other. It's great.
Big agree. Please go on, Art.
All right. I like. Okay, I posted in this note, and I posted it here so that I don't have to look for it in the editing. I can just grab it from here. All these frames of the this is to illustrate something that is all throughout the show. All these different angles from which one location is shot. It's amazing. Like, this is one location, the train station, and it has so much. Like, we get so much of a sense of what the train station is, how it looks, and how what kind of feeling it has, and how the environment around it looks, even though it only shows up, like, for this episode. Like, we get such a sense of scale and personality of this old building, and like that the guy who's staying there is only staying there because the thing, and he moves kind of impatiently, and it's great.
And there is a waiting room just for the ladies.
Yes.
Yeah. I definitely get that sense when someone like actually walks around and explores the whole area, and we actually get to see, because like the sense of wonder
Yes.
is like
Yes.
within Anne at least.
Yes.
Yeah,
There'll be plenty of that. There's gonna be plenty of that.
Yeah, and
I especially liked when Matthew went into the building after like looking at Anne, stand up and sit back down, like checking his watch. Once he went into the building, is very interesting how it was like the angles they decided to show.
Yeah.
I really like that, especially. Just wanted to note that.
Yeah, even in like they have this kind of low angle at some point. I think it's that
I love
one.
low angles.
Yeah. It might have been a different one too. This is
even with like the house room, like the second screenshot you posted, even that's got a few angles. Even in the first episode, like we know exactly like the capacity of this room.
Yeah, absolutely. I like how the Green Gables was kind of basic. Like, I'm looking to see this. Like, this is very much a building that doesn't have that many expenses. It is very kind of utilitarian, and that reflects Marilla and Nephew, the kind of the way of living and stuff. Like, they have nice and proper, like, nice cups and nice wall things. That looks, look proper, but like it's not anything crazy. It feels very real and grounded. I have a lot of notes about the environment stuff, and because you guys already covered a lot of the characters, and a lot of the character stuff I want to talk about is later on. The rail tracks and how she keeps looking backwards, and like she's not completely reckless. The show really goes through, like, I won't say excessive, but it goes through lengths to show that Anne, whilst slightly odd because of her past and stuff, isn't reckless. She knows what she's doing. Like, even with the whole her imagination, she knows that it's her imagination, even if she doesn't want it like to be her imagination. It's kind of goes into episodes 2 and 3, but yeah.
Oh yeah. With how Anne, she's actually like really good with words.
Yes.
She's great at understanding herself. She's great at expressing her own feelings and how she understands things. She comes off as like very self-aware for a child that age, and I really appreciate it in a good way.
Yeah,
but she's still childish.
Well, she wants to be childish because she couldn't be childish at the orphanage and at those places. she couldn't be childish there, so she wants to be childish here. This is what episode 4 is about.
She's waiting for it.
What?
You're waiting for episode 4 so bad.
Oh yeah. The voice acting. I love how besides Marilla and Matthew have such like realistic voice acting.
Yes.
Like they have very like movie, like Japanese movie, like a Japanese drama movie voice acting. Like not, I don't mean like Kurosawa. I mean like just like a drama movie, modern day drama movie. It's very like Matthew especially, like the noises he makes. You can tell they're different when he's intrigued about something. You can tell they're different when he agrees with something. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
He sounds
Big
like a
figure.
real human being.
Yes. Yeah. Like
I know this comes a little later with Matthew. I think it's in like episode 3, probably 3 or the end of 2. Can't remember that well. He's like smoking his little pipe
yeah.
and talking to Marilla,
Marilla.
and just like I'm looking at the subs and I'm like, wow, there's so much more nuance just in the vocal acting that like the nuance they try to imply in the subs
Well, I mean, the
is almost
subs,
understated a little bit.
like there are better subs out there, but they're not timed correctly to the Blu-ray. So you know.
Yeah. I just really appreciate that. Just the vocal performance. That's the moment I was like, yes, this is going to be very nuanced. It's not going to just be, oh, they just paid attention for Anne for the best voice actor and then they like gave shit voice actors to anyone else. No, it's probably going to be consistent. These are the main characters. I like it.
What's this? Oh yeah, the painting style really does, like the oil painting style. The oil painting style really does help make it feel like grounded, but also fantastical at the same time. Yada yada. I like how clearly the town and everything is laid out, like the journey feels real and stuff, etc. etc. We've already went over this, I think.
Art is good. Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's episode 1 covered.
Woo!
And just for a thing for the end, I love how at the end it says, "Please watch." It's
Yes!
just like, that's the most beautiful thing. It's just like this guy's just nicely asking you to watch.
What are you talking about?
Because at the end of the episode, the guy says, "Oh, this is happening next episode. Please watch. It would be so nice if you would watch.
Yeah.
Please."
It sounds like they were desperate for views.
No, but the guy just sounds so nice, and it just fits the show so perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way it's asked specifically just is like, wow, so genuine. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's not like, "Oh, next time this happens and this happens, you'll be missing out if you don't watch it." We're so good. No, it's just,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
really glad you mentioned that because I forgot to mention that, and that's great.
it's like, you'll like it, we'll like it, everyone benefits.
Hey!
You know it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the highlight.
Episode 2. Somehow you had shit to say.
I like the shot in the lake. I liked how they reflected the other side of the lake.
Yeah.
I like the animation. I like the little angels.
That's
There's
still
also
episode 1, I think.
also in the second episode, there's a really nice moment of animation when Anne starts crying.
Oh, yeah, her throwing her clothes. I have this note in my notes, actually. Her throwing her clothes down and undressing and everything and, like, going into bed and how the what do you call the cloak, that thing, moves over Anne and everything. It's very realistic.
But I'm talking about the scene when the Matthew and his wife reveal that
Oh, yeah.
she won't be
that one. Yeah, that one's good, too.
the one scene when her expression changes. That was a good moment.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have anything else to say.
Really? Like nothing about the characters or anything?
I'm only worried that Anne may become annoying, but I don't think she will.
I think that's kind of the point. Like, she
Yes.
might like seem like she's annoying to the characters, but
Yes, I guess it's the point, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
yeah. I think it's more towards the characters though. Like, to us, I think it's charming. Like, she carries. All right, you mind if I just take over now?
Yeah, you go.
All right, cool. I think it's in this episode that she really takes her. Like, we can more see like her conversation, like how she like participates in, because that's a lot of the show is at the moment at least is her talking on carriage rides or just talking in the house. A lot of it's just is Anne talking while, because the other characters don't talk as much, like not nearly as much. She's
Yeah.
likes to talk if she can. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Is it brought up where she can stop talking if she wants to, but she doesn't like it?
Yeah.
That
I
this
think
episode?
everyone can stop talking when they want to.
Yeah, but she like explicitly mentions, I do really like being able to talk, but if you don't, I'll understand and I'll keep quiet, even though it'll be
Yeah.
She was saying
Yeah.
that
I
to
think that's in the
Matthew.
first episode.
Yes.
yeah. That's a really interesting part about her, that she like can understand like what people will put up with, but she still wants to be her.
Yeah, that's relatable. I'm one of those people who likes to talk a lot, but then I'm afraid that I become a boring person.
Yeah. Can feel that.
Oh yeah. I just want to bring up something that is a minor, but someone, a very special, quiet guest just brought up. Her wanting to be called Anne specifically with an E.
Yeah.
It's great.
By the way, is Cordelia supposed to be a reference to King Lear,
I
or
think
did
probably.
they just throw a random name?
I'm gonna say probably.
yeah.
It's probably a reference. The way how I feel about it is that like to on herself, maybe she knows about the reference, maybe not. It's mostly for the viewer, I'm pretty sure. But Cordelia is an aesthetic name. That's all I gotta say.
Yes.
Pretty
Yeah.
aesthetic. I like it, and I kind of commend her for wanting to start her new life with the name Cordelia.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's too bad that she had to compromise to the
Elegant Anne with an E.
yes.
Yeah. Names don't matter, but they kind of do. Yeah. What was I going to be on about? Fuck. I had more to say. Oh yeah, the fact that she kind of wants to be a new person, like she wants to be removed from what she was before. She wants to start this new life. She wants a new name. She wants a new look.
Yes.
She wants to be like, imagine if she was completely changed, and she had like the imagination to do so. Also, this is probably a good time to bring up how she personifies absolutely everything. Like from freaking flowers to lakes, she gives them names,
Yes.
and that's
Oh.
just cute as hell. Like she feels like everything around is living, everything around is beautiful, and God, that attitude is just the best. Like, damn.
Yeah, Anne is a bit of a aspirational figure in a way.
Yeah.
Like so aware, has such a good outlook. It's just like, yes. Like this kid is like pretty well put together. That's why I don't think I'm ever going to be annoyed by her. Because even in like I just want to mention this one little thing. I believe it's in this episode where Anne sort of starts it's not rebel, but it's like she like outbursts like, oh, you don't know how I feel, lady. Talking to Morel. But it always comes off as like a very genuine try to try to get Morel to understand also I feel like an outburst like that becomes very reasonable by the way she sort of frames it. And I feel like, yeah, of course a kid's going to act this way. She's still a kid after all.
I have
Mhm.
one question to you. Do you think for you, for everyone, not to Vamp in specific, but
Mhm.
do you think that Anne is a realistic kid?
I don't think. I don't know. I don't
I
think
think
it
realistic-
matters. I
a
don't think it
realistic-
matters.
A realistic character put in those situations that
I
she
don't-
lived through.
I
think it
think
feels realistic.
she is realistic to like the extent of
Of
like
the show.
like fuck. To the extent of how she acts and reacts to situations, I don't think it's particularly realistic the way she talks, but the way she talks is very important
Bec-
to the
I
show.
I always have this doubt when
Yeah.
dealing with child characters because I don't interact with children. I don't like children, so I never know when a character or a young character is or isn't realistic.
But I don't think it matters. Like
No, it
realistic children, like I don't think like why did you bring it up?
I
Yeah.
don't think it matters either. But
Then why did
I
you
don't
bring
know.
it up?
Because it's something on my mind.
Okay.
I always have this doubt when watching shows with small children.
A child is still a human.
Yeah.
It's a
Not to
little
me.
one.
Not to me.
Yeah, it's the teenagers you have to look out for. They're the ones who are like,
Exactly.
well, crazy.
They're gonna knife you.
I will say that Anne sort of reminds me of my youngest niece that I have. She's like 5 or 6 or something. Like my niece is sort of creative and expressive in the same way that Anne is. Not in terms of like level of expressiveness, like accuracy, but like in that sort of nature of like just talking about things they like and the way they're looking at stuff. So it comes off as like that stuff is pretty realistic. Like Art said, the level of self-expression is sort of like a little too high for realistic, especially for nowadays standards. Maybe like I could see like someone reasoning that back in the day where Anne is growing up, she had to be a little bit more strong, be a little more serious, and be more socially aware. Where nowadays kids can just be let loose personality wise and just grow in like weird ways.
Kids and adults.
Just think
as
of it like a
well.
branch growing off a tree in just like a weird way. Where, like
I don't know. It's just a curiosity that I have on my mind because I don't think I've talked with a kid her age for at least 6 months.
I don't think I've talked to a kid her age for at least 2 years.
Same.
I do have a little bit more. I want to bring up like how she talks. She has like a way of like the best way I can say is like bargaining or in a kind of persuasive way. Like when she asks Matthew, it's like, "Oh, is this like if I have big thoughts, I should use big words, yes?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, kind of, sort of." Like the way she does it, she kind of like bargains. It's like, "This is totally how it is, yeah." And she goes on in her reasons.
Yes.
It's almost like a reality check with the person. Like,
exactly.
is this your sort of
She
reality?
kind of
It's
doesn't
kind of
believe
mine.
herself. Yeah, it's like
Oh yeah.
I'm not 100% sure I should really believe myself, but I really, dear to God, hope it's true. Do you believe in this as well? And when she does that, like further down the line, and she just says, "No, this is not how I view life." She just gets all sad and it's like, "Oh no."
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
we do get to the point now where she says, "No, I value like work being able to be done on the farm," and like does definitely not come from that kind of perspective. Like in the future, we'll find out that she does do work and like do things. not at the moment. I think that's about it for me.
By the way, Art, does the animation quality stay consistent throughout the entire series?
I don't entirely remember, but I watched like 12 episodes. Rewatched 12 episodes before getting an idea for the podcast, and then those 12 episodes have definitely stayed consistent.
Okay.
Also, yeah, it might be good to comment like on the character animation.
The
It can be a
backgrounds
little
definitely like stay the same.
Yeah.
throughout it.
The character animation can be a little jank.
What
But-
be?
Like some of these facial expressions
Yes.
are a bit.
But on the
It's
other
like-
hand, I think like the bodies, like how consistently
definitely.
throughout the whole thing, like the
Like,
poses.
The show makes up for it far more in other circumstances, other ways. Like they're minor picture with like the eye is like one eye is just raised slightly above.
Well,
it just
that's
Very
yeah.
off. Yeah,
You can't
It's like-
redo that.
it's kind of expected. Like for the time, it's like
Yeah.
they did-
Actually,
they did-
Heidi had a lot less of that than Anne did. Actually.
Yeah, I always try to keep in mind that this is like a 70s show, right? So that means the people who watching this on their TVs, their TVs are less than 480p. At a time, 480p was high definition. It was HD. That's what people called it.
exactly.
So it was like probably like 360p or less, maybe. So like you wouldn't have been really able to tell that well, just with also how how its screen does
Well,
work.
I do think they pay attention to it a lot of the time.
Yeah, they try not to do many screw ups, and it actually doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, but like everything else about it, like Matthew works in that scene, and yeah, like it's just that it's just that I don't.
Yeah, I don't really mind it either. I just purely wanted to mention
Uh,
it just for the derp eye, mostly.
Hmm.
The derp eye is great.
It does look pretty funny.
Yeah,
It definitely holds up in the other areas, like and even the character animations later on. It's still
yeah.
great.
But on
It's
the
just-
other hand, we have this wonderful expression.
Mhm. Oh, what a lovely little girl. Also, I love her hat.
Oh yeah,
Like I sometimes just don't even notice it, but it's there. It's ever present. He just
Oh,
has
yeah.
a nice hat on. And it's
Yeah.
just
That's
that,
pretty nice.
yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Is it my turn? Can't remember.
Yes.
I have bad memory. I'm literally dying. Anyways, so the first note I actually have is actually 8 minutes in, 8 minutes and 5 seconds, because the carriage ride was the first 8 minutes of the episode, also the OP, but so we got a little time to sit with Anne and Matthew before having to go to what I put as the oh no moment.
Yes.
The moment is just actually kind of like the rest of the episode of just having to confront the fact that Morel probably won't be into the idea of keeping Anne at all, and she isn't. You know, she's still not into the idea. Is not convinced by the end of episode, or the third episode, or the fourth episode's spoiler alert. So yeah, this is very slow burning.
Oh no, I think by the end of the fourth episode, we know for sure that Anna's gonna stay. Like if you look at like
I mean,
the whole way like
anyone
Marilla
watching
is acting,
this,
like the whole way
anyone watching
Marilla is
this
acting.
would understand that. Like,
Mm-mm.
it's an
Like-
anime series that goes on for like 50 episodes.
Yeah,
The show is called Anne of
with
Green
Anne.
No, but like
The show is called
I don't
Anne of
mean
Green
that,
Gables.
but I mean like if you were to like remove it from that, the way Marilla acts in episode 4, especially towards the end of episode 4,
Yeah,
she
there's
has kind of
definitely a
made an
progression
arc,
there.
and you do know that she already knows.
Yeah.
Like she already knows that she's gonna keep Anne.
Yeah.
Like just from removed from the fact that it's called Anne of Green Gables and all that stuff. Like you
yeah,
already
even
know.
like I was saying the slow burn earlier, not just to be like a meme or just say a thing.
No, I
But,
love
like,
that
and-
part about the show. It's
Yeah,
so
I agree.
dense. It's so
I was
dense.
gonna
Yeah, it is.
mention. Okay, so in the third episode, I believe it's the third episode, like Morel is like talking about to herself about how Matthew was bewitched or whatever by Anne's not wish, but like almost like talking about Anne is like sort of like fooling Matthew. But she says she like then also kind of implies that she also took some, you know, of being
Well,
vulnerable to that sort of
yeah.
being with me. And I thought that was very interesting how she put it, and that she sort of admitted even at the endish of third episode that
Even
she's kind of feeling
I
this way.
think, yeah, the third episode is Marilla's arc. The third and fourth episodes are Marilla's arc.
Oh yeah,
And I do think, well, we'll get into this later.
yeah.
Have anything more to say?
Other than the full derp and the Cordelia thing what I mentioned earlier, don't really need to talk about that. I want to say that when the music is used, this is 17 minutes in, pretty much exactly, where Marilla's taking Anne to go up to her room. There's like a guitar like instrument being played, and it's very subtle. It's very like it's a nice tune, but it's also melancholic.
I didn't even
Same
notice
time.
it.
Oh yeah, that's I think the best thing about it is that if you're not really like that paying that attention, it can just go over your head. But it definitely adds to the scene, and I liked it.
That's like,
Yes.
that's like the whole show. Kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
If
the
I
music
had
there.
to, oh yeah, I just wanted to make this sort of visual metaphor, kind of the first two episodes and what they did to me. So it's almost like a 1-2 punch kind of, but it's also like some sort of martial art where someone takes advantage of your momentum and like uses it against you, and you end up like on the floor or something. I don't know if judo does that, but that kind.
Yes.
But yes,
I practiced
basically there's a whole
judo
bunch
when
of
I was
like
younger.
endearing us to the characters in episode 1. Like episode 1, really, really great. Put my two favorite characters together and made them mesh well. Learned a lot about the characters. I became very endeared in the first episode. So in the second episode, when we have to confront Morel's sort of not wanting Anne to be around, and how it ends the episode is everyone goes to sleep. A song starts playing with vocals, and just sort of shows everyone in their bed and how their emotions and stuff.
Yes.
And then Anne's crying, and it's like, oh my god! I just at the end of it, I was just laid out on the floor, just not literally, though I wanted to. But it wasn't like I'm laid out so bad that I have to stuff my head in a pillow. But it's more like I just kind of got judoed and thrown onto my back. So this is high impact, is all I'm saying. High impact. That's all I got.
Yeah,
No,
and the fact that like the two adults like they
Yes.
just don't sleep at all. They're
I-
just shown eyes
Yeah,
open.
I love it. I love it. I have that
That's
in my notes too. I have a lot of what you guys said. Pretty much all of what you guys said.
Oh yeah, no one has mentioned this yet, but I feel like we need to make this a little bit clearer. I just want to mention that Matthew and Morel, I think, are brother and sister, right? So they sleep.
Yeah, they say that at the beginning of episode 1.
Yes. So it's sort of like funny to think that it's like they're going to be taking in the child, sort of being their parents, even though they've never been parents before, and it sort of shows. Actually, in episode 2, when Anne starts crying, and they both look at each other, and they're just like, I don't know what to do.
Oh yeah, I have this in my notes too, and I have
Yes.
and how it pays off in that, in like later in the episode when Anne goes to sleep, goes to bed. I mean, Marilla like cleaning up her things and wanting to like
tells her
talk
goodnight.
to Anne about some wanting to comfort Anne was very like realistic. How
Yeah.
and Anne's reaction to it and how she reacted back to it, I
perfect
felt
example,
that
yeah.
so hard.
I was going to mention this in episode 3, but back in episode 1, there is a point where there's the woman that comes to visit Marilla. She says, "Oh, these guys don't know how to take care of kids.
Yeah,
Like, a boy, but a girl, they would like struggle like to
yes.
to a massive extent." And yeah, that's definitely gonna pay off.
Oh, wait. Oof. So many planting of the seeds this show does.
Yes.
Too good. What a fucking incel Matthew is. I love him.
Mm.
I don't think he's an incel.
Nah, that's probably true. He's a pro-cell.
Like he's just he just doesn't know how to talk to people.
He's just a nervous, afraid boy.
Yeah,
He's just scared
honestly,
of
yeah.
the scary women and the
Matthew
strange
is
children.
legitimately one of the best depictions of social anxiety in media.
Oh yeah. The two adults, they feel like fish out of water. For real. I think that's the best way to frame it. Now I think about it.
Yeah.
They're just not used to these kind of situations. Even though they're probably at the age where they probably should. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Stuff. Anyhow, episode 3.
I have not seen this episode, so I'm
Irrelevant.
leaving right now.
Oh,
Bye.
okay. Have a nice night.
Bye.
Bye. Irrelevant. You go ahead.
All right. So this is the episode where it starts with them waking up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no dialogue. I have this in my notes. No dialogue sequence of Matthew taking care of the animals, showing
He was good.
and how comfortable he is in contact with stuff. The first episode.
I really like the animals.
Yes.
Like just playing naturally. They've all got their kind of own.
Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, that pays off. At the end of the episode.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I want to mention, like Marilla kind of like adapting to being a mother, like right then. Like she tells Anne, "Oh yeah, do all your bed sheets and get everything ready. Come down, have breakfast." Like she's instantly adapted to like what it would be like to be a mother. I feel like they just fall into those roles very naturally. Like she just expects that to be done of her, like as if she was her own child.
Well, they expected the boy to do it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of expected the same thing.
Yeah.
You still need to do your work and get ready. Like that's still great.
Take care of the bed and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And how the fact I like that there's a part where she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna put on my shoes. Oh nah, I'm home. I'm just gonna walk out in my bare feet." That's good. Like you can see the mental process going on, like just through her actions.
Like and how it's shot. We kind of get this like first person shot of Anne looking around the window.
Yeah. It's like she considers putting on her shoes and like, oh no.
Around the window, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she looks out, and then she opens it, and we get like this whole nature thing, everything in the forest, and then it all closes up on Anne and like the outside, and it's just it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And then Marilla's just like, oh, I don't care. I guess nature's alright, but like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
And then Anne's just like, no, it's the most beautiful thing in the world.
Yes, and we were all with Anne because of how they handled it. And the music and the sound design and everything.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're living there every day, it's not like a big deal. It's just kind of...
that's the point. That's
exactly.
That's the point of this episode. Anne saying goodbye to Green Gables, this place that she finds, initially so wonderful,
Mm-hmm. And she loves it so much. And it's beautiful. I'm not sure how much more I had to say about the episode because a lot of it's already covered. But
Oh yeah,
I think
stuff's too interconnected. It's too much building on each
Yeah,
other. And I think
everything's
that's
just
what Art was
everything
saying, or has notes about, just the sheer amount of building upon itself. Great.
Yeah, I feel like anything I could say here would be like said anywhere else. Also, them at the dinner table or at the food table or breakfast or whatever, just how they act. That is a charm to watch. Just how they act differently, and also what makes them go absolutely silent, and what they won't talk about, and what they will. Yeah.
Anne's actions specifically at the dinner table. I believe this is the scene. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. If it was somewhere in the second episode or if it's in the third episode, where Anne is told by Morel that
Marilla.
that Anne talks too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Anne stops, just doesn't talk for the rest of the most of the rest of the table and eating.
It's like she said. She said she would be quiet if she was asked.
Yeah.
And she does.
Consistent here. Yes.
Oh yeah, I also love. I guess I'll get into something and then you guys can go ahead. When she talks to Matthew in this episode, like she's so much more energetic than when she's talking to Marilla because she knows she can be. Like she knows she can be like a bit like grand and stuff with Matthew and a bit more grounded with Marilla. And I thought
Also,
that was really subtle. And I thought it was really nice.
Yes, the way
Like-
she like turns her head and looks towards Matthew, and like the expression is instantly different. Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
That's going back to like her moods from before. Like she will instantly get happier or instantly have a moment of sadness. Or also, I'm not sure if this might have been episode 2, but there's this part where Matthew just goes like, "Oh," Marilla's like, "Oh, what were you talking about?" It's like, "Oh, this is just like a reference from what you're saying in the carriage ride." It's like they've already built up this bond to have like inside jokes and
Yeah.
like an inside relationship.
I really loved that because it's sort of in a way, in a small way, I feel like suggested, brought up the idea to Morel that she hasn't experienced Anne yet. She's just meeting her.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's like, yes,
Okay.
subliminal messaging here.
Can I have something to add to this in my notes.
Please.
I like how Marilla is like when she's cleaning or doing anything, she's interacting with Anne and she's talking to Anne, but she always stops a little while when Anne says something like interesting or unusual to her. And you can see her stand and her face change and before she says anything. And it's great. You can just see her thought process on her face. It's amazing.
It's really like this person has like a whole kind of like intricate web about them, or like how you would interact with them.
Yeah.
And it's like for every single person. It's really good. Also, this might have been last episode as well, but when Marilla was cleaning the dishes, or might have been this episode, I can't remember. But when like everyone exits the room, she kind of like just lets go and like takes a massive sigh of relief, like she's putting on a kind of act or air about her, like around everyone else, but she can just kind of relax, and she's like, there's like a part to her that she's showing everyone else that's not really her, kind of like a protection barrier kind of thing. That's really interesting about her. Yeah.
I'm like thinking about like what I'm gonna say for episode 4, because there's a lot of like big payoffs and sort of like things that just be more convenient to explain on episode 4.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, when to explain this? Because
like Master Art said, this is sort of the start of Morel's arc, sort of relationship between Anne and Morel. So,
well, she goes through an arc in episode 3 and 4, and then she starts a new arc, and by the end of episode 4, really.
Yes. Matthew in his farm stuff is nice.
Oh yeah, We already talked about this, but yes, it's very good.
He's a good boy. Yeah. Do you have any more notes, Irrelevant?
Not directly, but there was one thing I thought, but I can't remember now. So just go on.
Oh, I have this in my episode 1 notes, but it's relevant throughout the whole show. The intercutting, like the specifically like a scene ends and another scene starts. It's not like oh, Anne's gonna do this thing, but it's intercut by like oh, Matthew's doing a farm thing or Marilla's cleaning up or going somewhere. It's always like oh, there are multiple things going on. Like that I can cut between, and that's something it's very basic, but specifically the way Anne handles it is very charming. I think.
He creates a very lived-in environment. Did we mention this about the dishwashing and the bed making?
Yes,
Where-
yeah, I think
Little bit, yeah.
we did in passing mention it.
Yeah, but you can go into more depth. We didn't really go too far.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think one of my screenshots actually has
mine too.
Morel asking if Anne can really wash the dishes, because Anne's like, "Yo, I won't wash the dishes. You know, can I at least do that for you?" And so she's like, "Yeah, I can." And then she starts, and then Morel's like standing over her, sort of like watching how she does it.
Yeah,
And you can see sort of like her be like, "Oh yeah, she can do this. Oh yeah."
The judgment.
And then
yeah, but that's then later followed up upon, and in this,
that's for the bed. I wanted to
Yeah.
bring up is that Anne just doesn't have experience with doing nice beds, so she doesn't know how to do it. It's not a lack of wanting to; it's just a lack of knowledge. And then you can see on Morel's face how like satisfied she is that she's going to be able to teach this kid about doing the bed properly, and she like does it with such finesse and like pride in her work. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, you pat the bed like this, slap the bed like this." And Anne, she says, "Oh, you can try," or Anne goes to try, and she does it, and she's having a good time. And it's like, yes, Anne has an enthusiasm for learning, for exploratory relationship here. And I just feel like it's planning so many good impressions, good reasons for Morel to keep her around. Anne is really putting in the work here. She, whether she realizes it or not, she is being a good kid on like almost every level.
Yes.
Go ahead.
But this is like, Van, this is something you talk about a lot, but to the extreme. This is what happens if you plan everything out. And I do mean everything.
Like, when I plan things out, I just like Anne plans things out.
Everything in Anne is planned out amazingly.
Whoa, dude! For real?
So anime
The writers,
planning.
they have writers. What?
Yeah, I mean Takahata wrote. I think Takahata wrote like 40 episodes.
And the only other thing I think we should mention in the third episode is the naming of the flower.
Oh yes.
Where there's this little special flower near a window, and it's like, "Yo, you have a name for this?" And then Morel says the name of the kind of flower. And she's like, no, dog, I don't mean that. I mean, did you give a name to this flower? Like you'd give a name to a kid. She's like, no, why would I? And then Anne's like, "Yo, can I give it a name, dog?" And I think she does, but I was in a rush, so I don't remember the name. But it's just interesting.
She was like, oh, you wouldn't just call you a woman, would I? I'd call you by your actual name. What it would be if people just called you woman your whole life. That was the icing on the cake. Yeah.
It's just like this is the perfect example of what I'm probably gonna talk about in episode 4 a lot. We probably will, all of us, about like the difference in ideology, I guess, just the philosophy and way they think about things. It's very interesting, like mirror, where like it seems to be a lot of like how the show presents it is like someone states an opinion or talks, and it leads to like both their opinions getting expressed and being relayed to each other and the viewer, and so it becomes this very like interesting exploratory relationship in almost every conversation. I think that's really neat. Just making every conversation like meaningful, good, and developing the characters and the story. Perfect sort of consistency in writing. Pretty great. Yeah, I think that's all I got for episode 3. Ah,
Have we like talked about how Anne putting on her clothes and like jumping on the bed and how that's the most charming thing ever? It's like the bed, her hair
Yeah,
moving.
we didn't really go into that.
What?
We didn't really go into that at all.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever. Okay, that's it. That's all that needs to be said. It looks amazing.
Wink.
It feels amazing.
Do you like lollies? I do. Hey!
Ooh.
Okay. Oh yeah, that scene where Anne wants to go outside, but she thinks she'll ruin it for herself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That-
she'll fall too in love with the estate and Rook and all that.
Fucking hit me. Like it's just the still. It's something that like again, not anime don't really do. They didn't really do it then. Yeah, like hold 5 seconds, and that's like it's not like they could have animated it. If you look at the rest of the episode, they could have easily have animated, but they didn't, because that's the point. Like it's Anne is standing still, like the Anne is trying to make a decision. Anne doesn't know what to do, and then she closes it and sits down and looks at the flowers and outside the windows, and it's fucking sad, and I love it.
Oh yeah, this is like I feel like most stories in general, how people approach stories, characters, scenes, is that
Like,
they
it's
want
just-
characters to make an action. But in this scene,
It's
and when she
it's
sits
just-
down, decides to not go outside. That is a non-action, but an action in and of itself that is meaningful and good. Sorry, I was cutting you off a
Yeah,
little bit
and
there.
it's done no word, no narration, no anything, no like sounds, just and it's so good.
The viewer gets to actually understand something
Yes,
from watching.
Yeah.
It's good design. There's also one thing I want to add. This might continue to pass the episodes, but just specifically my subs, it's just parts where it's saying, "Oh, Anne has a scope of creativity," or "She's in such a dark, depressive state," and these phrases get used consistently. I think that's just
are you?
brings
Which ones are you
such a
watching?
charm. I don't even know at the moment, but they're kind of trash.
Yeah, I think I downloaded
I'll
whatever
see.
ones you gave me, Art. You linked to me.
Yeah, I did some different ones a while ago, so I probably should get the different subs. But I kind of think the shitty subs have a charm to them.
I think I was trying to say this a little, but it didn't come out quite right in when I was talking about episode 1. We were talking about episode 1, where I just feel like the character action and voicing in and of itself sort of like gives me more information.
Yes.
Not because the subs specifically suck, but because
No, that's just how the show is designed. That's like
just how it's designed, just how it's made.
a big
It's
a
just
big
that.
part of a lot of Takahata movies, like where the voices are recorded without like storyboards or anything, and they record the audio and then they animate. Not like lip slaps or anything, but like kind of how they didn't do that. But Takahata did do that for Only Yesterday and Kaguya Hime, and I think fucking My Neighbor the Yamadas as well. And I do think that if they're like separate and you just have to base off the script, it forces them to like be more natural about it than if they have like layouts and keyframes in front of them.
Yeah, it's like they already know what they're working with and they can sort of design around that. Whereas if they just throw voices on afterwards, it's just not as maybe organic in terms of production wise. I don't know. I definitely like it though. Definitely like it.
Yeah.
Definitely a fan.
Yeah. The ending of the episode has this shot like of the animals just doing the thing. And like Matthew is really sad because Anne has to leave and he thinks he'll
Yeah.
never see her again.
He's so
And
depressed.
it's just
It's just like,
it's again, just the soundtrack and the thing and like it's just and like the way it's framed and it's and like the contrast of the cats is amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's probably not the highlight of the episode, but like it was definitely a thing I made sure to screen cap. Just seeing Matthew start sort of running towards the road that they left on, but like eventually realizing that he just needs to stop and it may be too late and yes, probably you should give up. Yeah.
Fuck. Too real. Too fucking real. Any last words on episode 3?
Nope, not for me.
I think it's about it.
Alright, the big one, boys.
This is where Master Right goes off.
Okay,
This is
everyone
the
else
big
go
one.
off. Everyone else go off first.
I actually don't know too much to say, like especially this one, because I feel like everything's being building up. It's like, oh, everything is just kind of built into it, and I've kind of said everything that needs to be said. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the thing I was
Um,
mentioning earlier with the way the two characters, Morel and Anne, talk to each other and it shows off their like philosophy and way they think about things. That's like
Yeah.
most of this episode. Because it's just they're on a carriage. And so I don't really think I'm
This
gonna have that much to say either.
exactly, because they're kind of just on a carriage. That's like literally the whole episode is them going to this place. But
yeah, this is one of the
there is-
episodes where I wish I took more notes of just
Exactly.
specific conversations and stuff. Like I said, I was a little crunched on time. My fault. But
Yeah.
maybe we'll get
I
into
can
a little bit of that.
But I think like the journey is very like good and symbolic. Like
Well, it's more like it's both Anne's journey and
yeah.
Yeah. They both
Um,
have to. These characters both have to sit with their feelings for this whole carriage ride.
No, but just the way the carriage moves and that.
the shots move, and it's like I'm so amazed. It requires a real like worksman or like almost like a visionary to make stuff like this interesting and to keep,
Exactly.
like,
It's just a long carriage ride, and it's good and interesting to watch through. It's just because the way Anne talks, and
Yeah.
she just punctuates herself. Like, well, she just like, doesn't talk at all. Basically, she's kind of scared to talk, like in fear of saying something wrong.
yeah.
In a way. Or Anne just goes on her like tragic story, like, and a lot of the time it just looks like the past like flashbacks. They look great.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they have this like
And these
postcard,
screenshots get past the past.
post yeah.
I don't know what the effect is like where they have like the oval thing in the middle, but yeah, that looks really great. And it's kind of similar with the framing tool they used at the start to introduce the characters, but this is more a normalized old thing. I have no idea what it's called, but it looks like an old photo. So
Yeah.
and also I'm not sure if we mentioned this earlier, but how the house is described and is viewed as like I think I might have missed that opening scene when the house is first explained how it looks. Like that, just that looks beautiful, and also all these shots of the outside
Yes.
world and the ocean and the greenery.
Yes,
Like-
and like, yeah, and like how Anne talking about how she imagines she was like born and what her house was where she was born, and like how her mother was and how her father was, because she doesn't know, but like she has this whole like story made up about it, and like how she thinks it all went and where she lives, and it really is like this is a projection of what Anne wants to be. Like the kind of like her mother is the reason like Anne is Anne wants to be like the mother she imagines. Anne wants to live in the house she imagines being born in. It's it's so good, and it's so I feel like it is kind of realistic. Like I do think children do that a lot.
And it kind of mirrors
and stuff.
It mirrors how she's kind of like seeing Green Gables as well.
Yes.
Like
yes. Exactly.
She wants to live. So it's like building her ideal kind of life in like two ways at once by showing her past and her future, kind of.
Yeah.
Especially in the journey, which is like the exact same as when she came to Green Gables. She's
Anne's voice acting in this episode, more than like episode 3 or 2, like she doesn't exaggerate anymore in this one. It's just serious, dry, naturalistic, and it suits the tone of it so well.
It's almost like in episode 1, she's sort of hyping herself up, trying to like sell herself, both on her emotions, but also on like who she is and her energy. To
like
even
they're talking
Matthew.
to is like less like big, like quote unquote big words. It's more like just kind of how she actually sees things, as fast as she can describe it, as fast as it's coming in her head. She's remembering it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like at the start, she goes, "I will enjoy this carriage ride. It will be good, because I'm not going to think about all that bad stuff of having to leave." Yeah. And she does. She just goes through that, and she just has this like aura and airs about her that she just is going to do life the best she can.
Yeah.
That's the only thing she can do.
That energy, dog. Too powerful.
Yeah, that raw. I am going to live energy. Like, damn. I'm not sure how much more. Like, a lot of you probably can do it better than I think. But, yeah, I think I might leave it there for now.
Okay.
Something that's on my mind with this episode is that I remember thinking to myself, like, like before we sort of like Anne's past is just a mystery, but now I sort of get a sense of just in general with episode 4, like thinking about Anne in possibly a tragic way, in a way like if you think about the fact she is a character who she's not just talking about her fantasies because
like,
she's just a silly little
kid. It's
because she needs the fantasies.
It's a coping mechanism. It's so good.
The terror, the tragedy.
But it's like it's a coping mechanism she become very attached to, and one that she kind of needs to. She finds it hard to explain without like. And Marilla gets this. Like Marilla gives her like the space to explain all of this, and by the end she gets that. She gets Anne. She gets the way why Anne talks the way she talks and why Anne thinks the way she thinks. Just by like observing her move in the carriage ride and seeing her talk and everything, and like Marilla is such like a sympathetic character in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Like she keeps like she asks like at one point towards the end it's like where he talks about where she talks about finally going to the orphanage and like possibly having to go back. Like okay, that's implied. It's implied that Marilla's thinking about that, and she says like she phrases it in like well like she kind of Marilla kind of stumbles and she's very slow in talking like, and then I have a quote like well ... were those women Mrs. Thomas and Mrs. Hammond good to you? and just Marilla's expression and how she said it, and I'm like it's like, and that's the end of the episode, and it's it just shows that line and how it's spoken and Anne's kind of facial reaction and how it's shot perfectly illustrates how Marilla changed this episode, perfectly illustrates how Anne kind of got comfortable with Marilla in this episode after not being comfortable with her in the previous 2 episodes. It breaks me. I can't explain it. I can't go further. I don't know how to. Like, it's
One thing to mention visually, while I let you deal with those feelings of break, is the seagulls. The
Yeah.
seagulls in the air, they're actually viewed from like many different angles.
Yeah.
There's one shot I remember like very vividly of seeing like maybe Anne or something looking up, but looking at so you can see the underside the seagulls, and then there's another shot where you can see them off in the distance, sort of before that shot. That's sort of interesting.
Yes.
Or maybe it's later. I don't know. But it looks at it from not even like a bird's eye view angle, but like
and
looks at them from like a different angle. Oof.
Yeah, but like, yeah, we too like get like to learn more about Anne this episode. We get to realize that like how like she is like a very worldly, and she is very she can handle pressure very well, which might come up in the future, and she can like she can be a responsible person. Like, she's had it tough, and that has shaped her in a very
You can
unique
sort
way.
of see the worldliness in the earlier episodes,
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
with the whole.
This is why I wanted to watch the first 4 episodes. The 4th episode makes the previous 3 episodes so much better, and it's the first big payoff, but it also sets up so much more.
Yeah, it's like if you're not if someone's not convinced by the first 3 episodes that the characters are, not just that they're like deep in a way, they have many different layers and they're very well realized. By the 4th episode, it should probably prove them wrong for sure.
Yeah.
It sort of solidifies all that, like hashtag, like 100% hashtag for sure. Yeah.
Fuck. Anyone got anything more to say?
Morel's face always looks like the grumpiest ass thing ever.
Yeah,
and
like,
actually towards the ends of the 4th episode, it looks less like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Interesting.
That's what I mean.
That's so a good start. Yeah.
Really good.
It's literally the purpose of the ride. It's like, oh, they understand each other better. Yay. That's actually, I just realized that's actually a really good thing. It's like, you only understand Anne once you've been one-on-one in a carriage with her.
Yeah. Like Matthew got that opportunity, in the like even first episode, and then Morel got it in the 4th. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I want to see if this continues. Like, they have to have a lone one-on-one conversation, or they have to be in a carriage or something like that. But yeah, like how to understand Anne as a person and get used to her.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Are we gonna attempt to wrap this up?
Yeah, I think that's about.
Oh shit! One thing. All right. So I just want to make a remark of how well the episodes flow into each other.
Oh,
yes.
It's unbelievably good, and it's
really
almost like someone you to keep
sat down and it's almost like someone sat down and planned this out.
Yeah, but no, I mentioned this just because I've been watching some more recent anime recently, and there's some that like the main reason like that I think they're okay. There's a lot, maybe even a lot of interest in some of these shows, but like for me, but I don't want to keep watching just because it just doesn't flow that well. But with this, it's like one thing I really like it, and secondly, it just flows super well. So I think that's worthy of note. Is just the good flow. You'd be surprised, at least by today's standards, for some of these animes.
What did you say?
It's kind of in a way, not much happens, but also a lot of things happen at once. Kind of.
Oh yeah, it's like if you think
it's
about
hard
the
to, like,
events that
technically explain.
happened, not
Yeah.
that many.
But
But in
that's not
terms of pure
important.
characterization,
Yeah.
information, and just all different kinds of information
exactly.
given to you, it's
A different kind
actually
of thing happens.
ridiculously dense. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and just the way it's paced, and like, it feels very natural when it comes to the end of the episode. Like, yeah, it feels like it's the end of a thought or one experience or something.
Yeah.
It continues to go on. I was like, oh, we'll return to this next time. It's good. We'll pick it up. Whereas in
Yeah.
like, I feel like if this anime was made today, these first 4 episodes will be condensed into 2, like,
Yeah.
at the very least.
I was actually watching. I don't think you guys would like this, but some weird fucking visual novel adaptation from the season, and it sort of like flows well, and that's why I watched a bunch of it. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. But yeah, I drop most shows, and like I was saying with the bad flow, that's what sort of anything I put on hold from when I do a thing where I watch every first episode of a show of a season when all the first episodes come out. I usually drop more than half of them, put the rest on like on hold, and like a couple of them I'll try to keep up with. But yeah, a lot of them get put on hold and not really but I never get back to them very often just because they're bad flow. Just want to add that context.
Yeah. Any last words?
Anna's good.
Yes.
And
Good.
she is a good little grill.
Yeah.
The best grill.
Yes. This is longer than the 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, our discussion is longer than it watched for.
Okay.
Like, and for reference, what do you call, fucking Scorn was watching these episodes while we were talking about them. It's pretty beautiful that someone was able to watch these exact episodes while we were talking about them and finish before us.
Yeah.
Well, he was watching
That
it
is
at 2 times speed, but you know.
Yeah, true, but like, even if he didn't, he probably would have finished.
I'm feeling good about this show. We're definitely going to continue it from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
I definitely will for sure. It's great.
We'll be back sometime to do it again.
All right.
Hopefully soon.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Please come next time. We want you to come next time. You'll enjoy it.
What? Please watch.